getting ready to go. CatchCon 2026 in Vegas, watching real legends flow. Stop playing games, the time is now. Learn to submit or pin to win, and take your final bow. Submit or pin to win, yeah! Pat Miletich, master in the shoot, getting ready to go. CatchCon 2026 in Vegas, watching real legends flow. Stop playing games, the time is now. Learn to submit or pin to win, and take your final bow. Submit or pin to win, yeah! Pat Miletich, master in the shoot, getting ready to go. CatchCon 2026 in Vegas, watching real legends flow. Stop playing games, the time is now. Learn to submit or pin to win, and take your final bow. Submit or pin to win, yeah! Pat Miletich, master in the shoot, getting ready to go. CatchCon 2026 in Vegas, watching real legends flow. Stop playing games, the time is now. Learn to submit or pin to win, and take your final bow. Submit or pin to win, yeah!
All right, guys, welcome. I'm super excited for today's live because I have UFC Hall of Famer Pat Miletich, inaugural UFC welterweight champion, coach to 11 or 12 world MMA champions via his Miletich Fighting Systems stable. It's going to be amazing. Love this guy. He's my new business partner. We have got things cooking that you wouldn't even believe. Some people know about this, so all you guys that know, keep it quiet. But we got so much cool shit coming down the pike. I am so excited for you guys. You can light up the chat, people. Hit me up. You got questions, you got comments, light it up. I'm here to answer your questions. So while we wait for Pat to jump in, I do want to talk about what it is that we got cooking. So stay tuned. Pat Miletich, get your questions ready. We're going to be talking about Pat. We're going to be talking about MMA. We're going to be talking about catch wrestling. We're going to be talking about the future. We're going to be talking about this partnership with Pat, Miletich Fighting Systems, Scientific Wrestling. So honored, so excited. Literally, guys, we are swinging for the fences. If you think as big as you can, I challenge you guys, think as big as you can about what we got coming after CatchCon, which is big and huge and amazing. Pat will be there in person. You guys got to get in the room. Frank Shamrock will be there. One of my coaches, 4-time undefeated champ. Amazing. Hey, what's up? Deputy Sheriff Kevin Coates. He's one of the guys I'm working on cool projects with, but you got to keep it quiet, Kevin. Can't tell anybody. But yeah, I'm excited to see you at CatchCon. It's going to be amazing. Going to be amazing. Here, let me see if I can switch this. What's this look like? Yeah, we'll just keep all the comments up. If you have questions or anything, let me know. So yeah, dude, if you have any idea or you have any guesses, I want you to think as big as you possibly can for what we have cooking. I'm so excited. I wish I could tell you. But let's talk about CatchCon for a moment because Pat will be at CatchCon, right? We will also have Frank Shamrock. Okay. Oh, what did Kevin say? On duty. Okay. In the squad car. Listen. Oh, yeah. We did the Briscoe broadcast. Okay. The Briscoe Bradshaw podcast. That's my third appearance with those guys. I love those guys. Jerry is on the board of advisories for Shoot Pro. So if you guys are interested, what is Shoot Pro? Shoot Pro is this idea of taking professional wrestling and making it competitive instead of theatrical. Hey, theatrical guys, go to town. You made billions of dollars. Go. We're going to do our thing. We're going to do this as a real thing. That's also known as catch wrestling. Hey, what's up? It's my wife. Hey, glad to see you awake, darling. Oh, she's on LinkedIn. She's always on LinkedIn. She got a big show on her own, live with Sandra on LinkedIn. But nice. Hi, good to see my wife, my buddy Kevin Coates. He's a partner with us as well. And again, our big partner, Pat Miletich, will be dropping in a moment. So stay tuned. So much stuff, dude. I can't even keep it all straight. So, okay, let me get to it. CatchCon, Pat Miletich, UFC Hall of Famer. We got Frank Shamrock, 4-time undefeated UFC champion. The prototype. Both these guys are the prototypes of modern MMA. Hold on. Pat's texting me now. Hold on now. I got to send him the link. Give me 2 seconds here. And I could talk. I could do this while we talk. So let me send this to Pat, and he will jump on and join us. Here we go. Okay. He's going to jump on. So I better hurry and tell you about it, because we've got not only Pat, not only Frank. I'm going to be there. Yours truly, the guy who started all this craziness. We've also got Jody Simon. Do you know who that is? Do you guys know? He came to CatchCon last year. Joe Malenko. Maybe you know him by that name. Love Joe. Joe's a great guy. I've known him for the last couple of years. Well, I've actually known him for decades, but we didn't really get closer until the last couple of years. And coming. And why I'm so excited. Oh, Pat's here. I'm going to bring him on in 2 seconds. The reason I'm so excited for Jody, it's going to be Pat Miletich, Frank Shamrock, Jody Malenko, Jody Simon. He wrote the foreword for the new book that I got coming out. Now, this is the proof. That's why this weird thing's on here, this band. But this is, for those of you that are fans of my book that I did with my coach, Billy Robinson, this is the same style book that I did with my mentor, Carl Gotch. And I am so excited. I'm very, very proud of this book. For those of you who have listened to my conversations with Carl, I have a good YouTube video. It's maybe 2 hours, but then I have hundreds of hours, maybe not hundreds, but I have a lot of hours that Carl allowed me to record for posterity for this purpose. And I finally got to getting it out. It will drop next week on Thursday, the 26th, for 1 day only. And you can, the title is No Gas, No Run. You can look it up. It's already there for pre-sale. The Kindle edition will be 99 cents. 99 cents. And so buy it. Get a copy, okay? Because we want to get that #1 badge. So all you guys, No Gas, No Run. Type it into Amazon. It'll be there. Please, purchases. You know me. I'll remind you. I'm a marketing machine. So I will remind you. But let's blow that up so we can get that bestseller badge. All right. Without further ado, let's bring on the man, my new business partner, my hero. This guy is a wild man. He's so cool. All right, Pat, what's up, brother?
Well, good to see you, Jake. Sorry, had some eagles circling over the farm and had to take the dog out and run the eagles off so that the 200 chickens weren't vulnerable. So,
dude, when the grid goes down, I'm coming out there. Just so you know,
you're gonna want to be here. Bro.
I'll have my bug out bag, but I'm just gonna need a place to go. So I'm gonna head out there.
Yeah. 2 wells, plenty of food. Self-sustaining. That's what it's all about,
dude.
That's how you sleep at night, bro.
I know. I need that, bro. I need that. I'm in a city. I'm like a little freaked out, dude. Like I look at all this news crap, and I know. Dude, you and I are kind of two peas in a pod. You're a much bigger, I'm more of like a pimple on the ass of the pea that you are. But like we're so similar in some of our interests. And But of course, you do it bigger and better, and I love that about you. And that's
No,
why.
no, look. Hey, we all have our fortes, and I'm good at what I do, and you're very good at what you do. That's just
Well, I appreciate you. I mean, that's why we're partnering up on some of these big things. Now, don't spill the beans because I don't want anybody to know these crazy swinging for the fences things we're doing. But in the meantime, oh yes, sir, go ahead.
No, on your No Gas No Run, your book. I mean, I was reading through that. You sent that to me, and great material, dude. Great, very, very important material for people to understand that the modern era of lack of nutrients and machine workouts and all this great. There is nothing that builds a better human machine than the real ways of doing things.
Yeah,
like there's so much knowledge in all of that from the the old world ways of training. You just can't replace it.
Yeah, and you given your interest in agriculture, in athletics, and your proven track record, that means a lot because, and I'm particularly proud of this book with Carl because what I tried to do this with Billy. It was a little easier because he was alive, but it was almost the same method where I just would have conversations and then I'd record the conversations and I'd try to pull my part out and match the the paragraphs together afterwards.
Yeah.
And so this is truly like in Carl's voice. He's hilarious. I mean, he really is hilarious. Like the first paragraph where he's like, your tongue is hanging out your asshole and you look like an abortion. I mean, that's straight Carl language. Like, that's not me. I don't talk like that. So I'm really excited about that. And thank you for reading that. It means a lot. But I'm really proud of it because, man, Carl was literally, I consider you like the architect of modern MMA because of what you've been able to do, not only with your own body, but then get it out of your head and into 11 world MMA champions like Jens Pover and Matt Hughes and Robbie Lawler and all those guys, right? Tim Sylvia, all those. Amazing. I consider you the architect of modern MMA with Miletich Fighting Systems. But Carl was like the founding father of MMA.
Oh, yeah.
If we get rid of the propaganda and the way that the marketing was done with the early UFCs, Carl was doing this 10 years earlier in Japan with the Shuto organization.
Well, and you just think about the way those guys were. When we look at that generation of athletes, when I was a kid, in my 20s even, and seeing guys in their 70s and 80s who could still do things that 20-year-olds can't do today in terms of strength, in terms of movement, in terms of, that's the way humans always were. That's the way everybody kind of was, right? Because they all had the nutrients, they all had the movement, they weren't sitting at desks all day.
They had the testosterone.
Oh, massive amounts of testosterone. I mean, the power of a 75-year-old guy, when I was a kid, is, most 25-year-olds don't have that level of testosterone today. So it's important to understand why that is and how to fix that in yourself, because that will change your life. It will change how you operate. It will change your health. It will change your mentality, how you look at the world, and how you just operate overall. And when you are kind of a shining beacon of light and power walking through a crowd, people are like, what's that guy doing? Or what's that lady doing? Why is she different? That's what everybody should be doing, right?
100%. And yeah, and we'll move off Carl in a second, but like Carl was that light. Carl, so, he was a shooter. He could not even understand. He understood it. He wasn't stupid, but he couldn't ethically handle the work. Yeah, worked wrestling. He got in a fight with like Nature Boy Buddy Rogers, the biggest draw, the biggest name. This guy was like the Rock of that era, and just beat the shit out of him in the locker room because he's like, "What is this? This is fake. I can't handle it." He gets blacklisted, and this was actually part of his legend, and part of what was amazing about him is he got blacklisted. He had to work as a garbage man during this time because he got blacklisted. You know what that's like, getting blacklisted for speaking the freaking truth.
Well, the truth to most people is like a chicken bone stuck sideways in your throat. It's tough to swallow, right? And so, when you live do your best to live in the truth, you scare people. That's
Well,
just the way it is.
he used to say, only a fool fears the truth. Unfortunately, the world's full of fools.
There's
You know?
many, but there's a lot of folks out there waking up, bro. Right?
Yeah, more than ever, dude. Because like I said, you and I are very congruent on kind of how we see the world, and I've been on this since I was in college the same years I was going to UFC 1994. I was on this, and I was a freak. Everybody's like, "You're weird. You're a conspiracy." I've never seen more people, especially this like lockdown vaccine crap, woke up more people than I've ever seen. It's crazy. It's like my views are now mainstream. It's like, what? Where am I? This is so wild.
Yeah, no, it's all that aside, in the reality of health and power and truth and strength is real nutrients, real minerals, real microbes, real training, real resistance, doing horrible things every single day to be more resilient than other people. And some of those things involve having a gorilla grab a hold of you and having to wrestle with them.
Well, and isn't that what we're trying to do with CatchCon, right? Like what we're trying to do is present.
We are doing.
Well, we are. We did it last year. We're doing it this year. I'm so excited to have you in the room. Last year we had to do it over Zoom, but what's the first rule of success? Showing up. You figured it out. You got in the room. You actually did one-on-ones with everybody, which was such a value add. I know people were like, holy shit, I just got one-on-one coaching from Pat Miletich. Like, it was amazing. That was such a great thing. But this time you're actually going to be there hands-on. Obviously, we're going to be doing the coaching. We're going to be doing some of the stuff, again, that Carl taught me with the mace. That was there last year. If you buy the right ticket, you can get an included mace. If you buy the right ticket, you're like, oh, it's too expensive. Dude, we have a ticket that gets you a room in the B&B. So you don't even have to pay hotels. Like, dude, it's just going to be amazing. But the gorilla grabbing you that you were talking about is going to be day 3, and that's the actual tournament. Mm-hmm. I was excited with last year. We have it up at shootpro.tv. Very, very honored to have you see the vision, love the vision, get behind the vision. Thank you for that. I've been searching for you for 20 years since the passage of guys like Carl and Billy. Like, I'm like, who do I find now that can see what I'm seeing? And anyway, that Sunday, people are going to have an incredible opportunity. You can go to shootpro.tv, see what we did last year. Okay, great. But we're always trying to get better. That's the point of life, is like we're always trying to get better. Sure. This year, we're in like a full TV studio with a full wrestling ring, jumbotrons, lasers, all of that stuff. Live broadcast, 5 cameras, ceiling cam, hard cam, walking cams, backstage cam. This is a legit show. So not only do you get all the wonderful wisdom, you get to get in the room with Pat. You get a mace if you want. You get to go to Vegas. It's the week after the U.S. Open for USA Wrestling, dude. So this is going to be an incredible time. But then you're going to walk with the ability to have to test yourself. You guys got to stop. Winning is, of course, important. That's why we do this. But it's to test yourself. And you have that opportunity.
So, and it's important for people to understand that. But here's the thing that I really like to stress with all of this is we're looking for the people, the individuals, those special, intelligent, unique individuals that understand that Shoot Pro is the special forces of grappling arts, right? So you can be a specialist in jiu-jitsu, in judo, in sambo, in wrestling, but the tier 1 operators of grappling arts is somebody who is good enough and intelligent enough and athletic enough to incorporate the tools from all those amazing grappling arts and more and become, a champion in catch as catch can. That's a very, very unique individual, a very special individual. And for anybody out there that's trying to become better, trying to become complete, they will master catch as catch can because they have incorporated the aspects of all those grappling arts into, the core monster of the ability to take anybody down, the ability to escape if you do get taken down, the ability and intelligence to defend against submissions, and the ability to transition from someone attacking you into counterattacks. All of these things that go into this. I mean, this is the tier one of all grappling arts, and that's something for people have to conceptually be able to grasp it, right?
Dude, that's the hardest thing that I've had to try to get across to people in the last 20 years because
but it's not hard. It's not hard.
The challenge that I've had is actually the popularity of jiu-jitsu, and jiu-jitsu
is beautiful. That's great.
Yeah, I never dog it. People think I'm dogging it. I'm just like, no, I like catch. It's just, I'm not dogging it. I like chocolate. I don't like vanilla. It's like,
well,
I like strawberry.
But the thing is where I think where that is, and sorry to interrupt, is jiu-jitsu, the aspects and important tools of jiu-jitsu go into catch. It's part of catch.
Yeah, well, I would argue that without catch, jiu-jitsu wouldn't exist.
Right. No, absolutely. But here's the thing. Everything is an offshoot of catch. So this is
it really is.
Yeah, so this is bringing it all back home. That's all it is. So it's not a difficult concept to understand that, it's like I remember the days when people freaked out about leg locks in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Mike Sesnilevich went to Brazil. Pedro Silveira, one of my students who owned schools in Rio de Janeiro and stuff, jiu-jitsu schools, took Mike all over to all the best jiu-jitsu schools in Rio de Janeiro, and Mike went in and submitted all their black belts with leg locks and some unique guillotine variations, right? And they kicked him out and told him he could never come back to any of those gyms, right? Now look at leg locks in jiu-jitsu. They're right.
It's everything. It's like the biggest, hottest trend. It's what everybody does. And dude, see, I love that story because I remember 2004. I remember the MMA.TV, the underground. Remember that?
Sure.
Way back.
Yeah.
I was.
Does it? It still exists, right?
Oh, it's still there. Yeah. Keurig gave me a catch wrestling forum way back then to run that forum and have conversations, whatever. I remember, and this is when Carl was alive, and we were having the conversations that made the foundation of this book. And I remember I said to him, because I was 2004, I was still learning, and I'm still learning. I'll learn till I die. But like I said, Carl, what do you think of this guard? Oh my God. And if you read the book, he calls it a whorehouse hold. I mean, you know what I mean? He's like, that only, anyway, so he said to me, and I remember this is so controversial because I just wrote in the MMA.TV forum what he said to me, and it caused such a shitstorm. And all he said was like, if somebody gives me their fucking legs like that, if they give you their legs and you don't break their legs, you should just quit wrestling. And now that they're legal, like Mike Size and Eric Paulson pulled some of this shit early on, another catch wrestling guy who had catch wrestling touches.
Sure.
So they're getting banned, but nowadays it's like they discovered fire. Like, oh, we're the greatest. It's where I get annoyed a little bit because it's like, and then they have to rename everything like they came up with it. And I'm like, guys, can you just give proper credit? I mean, it's just the right thing to do, but It is what it is. So but what you're saying about the special operators, like the Delta Force, this is what I've had to try to get people to understand, because jiu-jitsu, which I do respect, I've done it, I like it, it's cool, okay. But the thing is jiu-jitsu is a retail martial art. That's why it hasn't really, ever since the wrestlers got sniffed out money in UFC and MMA, jiu-jitsu went in the shitter just in the rankings. It's a retail martial art. It's a great form of self-defense. Okay, fantastic. But the challenge is people don't understand that catch wrestling is a prize fighting thing like boxing, MMA, Muay Thai. Those are not widely popular. They're not in every strip mall because they're not retail martial arts. That's why jiu-jitsu has taken over for taekwondo, in my opinion.
Well, and at the same time, we have to be honest that a good jiu-jitsu player will tie your ass up in knots and will
they'll mess you up. They're dangerous. They're dangerous.
Just because I've had to practice all these arts, I have great appreciation and respect for all of them. super, super important. But the brutality of catch and the incorporation of all the tools across the grappling arts and what really transcends and what really works in real combative situations is very important to understand. And the the beauty of jiu-jitsu, I will say this, is because you can be a computer analyst and not be an athlete, have never done sports
That's
in your
right.
life, you can become a very dangerous person, right? You can finish off most people on the ground if you can get them to the ground, if they go to the ground with you, which most fights actually do go to the ground. Now, when you've got somebody who's well versed in jiu-jitsu and has a wrestling background, all of that, and the catch as catch can mentality,
Lethal.
then there's problems, right?
Yeah,
Then
that's
there's
lethal.
problems. So it's just about becoming a complete martial artist. Look, the kicks of Muay Thai, the tools of Muay Thai, in my humble opinion, are worthless without boxing footwork and head movement
There
and
you go.
understanding how to do that, right? So there's always holes in everything, and if you don't put them together, and so the best way to put it would be catch is the MMA of all grappling.
That's
Right.
it. And if you look at the history, they were doing mixed matches, but they were grappling matches 150 years ago because they would have these jiu-jitsu versus catch matches. And this is where earlier we were talking about Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. That's where it came from. Count Coma or Maeda, the guy who went to Brazil, if that story is to be believed. I know there's some controversy there, but that's not my expertise. But that he went to Brazil, but he cut his teeth developing that system of underneath wrestling against catch wrestlers. He had to figure out how the heck do I stay alive against these guys. And so it became that real heavy Newaza, Kosen judo type of thing. But I mean, really, I love your perspective, dude. You're so educated on so many subjects. So we're coming into CatchCon.
Yeah.
We've got, it's going to be 3 crazy days, 2 days of camp, 1 day of the show. People are going to walk with this incredible sizzle reel filmed in this great studio. Right now I've got the guy who produced Craig Jones Invitational 1, Craig Jones Invitational 2, Meta Morris. He's doing the Jake
Production.
Paul. He's doing the Jake Paul production of the Carano Ronda
MVP,
Rousey.
yeah.
Yeah, he's coming in. He's going to produce this show for us. So we've got this. I'm so excited. I can't even tell you. But
Everything's coming together. Yeah. Everything's coming together.
CatchCon.us, guys. So, but I do want to touch on some of the other things. Like I talked about briefly, and I hope I'm not touching a third rail, but you've been a person that's speaking honestly what you see in the world, and it's bitten you in the ass. It bit me in the ass years ago.
Sure.
What is it that's so important for people to know right now? You and I have these private conversations. I don't want to bring anything private public, but let's use this platform maybe to help people, because you said more people are awake now than ever. And what do you think? Is it the nutrition? Is it the soil? Is it
always has to,
knowing who's poisoning us? Like what is important?
everything has to start with the soil and with understanding that when you look through history, and I don't want to go too deep into the educational stuff on this, but it's very important for people to understand that every civilization that has collapsed, in part of that, and a big part of it, was the health of society. The health of society comes from the soil, from the environment. The environment dictates genetic expression and health. That's mental health, physical health, hormonal health, all of these things that go on, right? So we've demineralized our soil and replaced that with chemicals. And when you do that, you compound the situation and you speed up the health aspect of a nation. And we can see that all around us every time we go out in public. There may be people listening to this who are dealing with health issues. Well, that comes from nutrient deficiencies and toxicities, period. They say, is there any history of certain types of health issues in your family? All that is it's not your genetics, it's how your genetics manifest the nutrient deficiencies and the toxicities in a similar way. That's why your family suffers from certain things, and your next door neighbors might suffer from something else as a family, right? That's all genetics. And how, again, nutrient deficiencies and toxicities do that. When you fix the environment, which we know how to do, and we know how to do it quickly, that all organisms living in that environment, drinking that water, eating that food, and breathing that air, change. That's just the way it is. It's a fact, period, across the board.
Yeah, because what you're talking about is there's like the genetic code, but then there's triggers in the genetic code, the epigenetics, where the soil, the food, the water, the air,
and people have to
triggers
understand,
those epigenetic things, and then you're sick.
well, people have to understand something in this, and I'll just pick a tiny slice out of 40 years of research. When you look at a selenium deficiency, or add on top of that, which selenium is almost gone out of our soil, we can put it back. We know how to do that, right? With minerals. When you remove selenium, or they don't get the right form of selenium that's been digested by microbes, which convert it into a usable source for plants and animals and humans, that you affect the P53 guardian gene that encases and protects the development of new proteins, new aminos, from radiation contamination. Just that alone, and through selenium deficiencies and the glyphosate that blocks nutrient uptake of selenium and other very important minerals, is a contributing factor to an explosion of the big C, right? That's just one mineral of the 64 essential minerals that we need.
Well, that's what, when I went out to see you in North Dakota, what was that, 2 years ago? I learned that like these farm communities are the highest with cancer.
Some of. I mean, it's
across
because
the board. Like what they're getting sprayed, right?
That's part of it. I mean, you have to look at ag chemicals. Ag chemicals are, we have to be, I don't know if I have to be careful on this broadcast with what I say, but look, nitrogen is used for explosives. That's used to grow food. Urea is used for diesel fuel. That's used. Phosphate fertilizers have arsenic. They have radium. They have cadmium. They have uranium. And these are inorganic sources. These are the heavy metal forms. And that builds up in soil, builds up in water, and things like that. So uranium in a lot of water sources is 120% above recommended levels.
Yeah, I mean, this is another thing.
Well, you wonder why people are why hospital rooms are packed, right? It's the environment. And so we can fix it. But when RFK is on the Theo Von show saying, well, 80% of farmers would go bankrupt if they didn't have these chemicals, which is probably true because of the education system being converted many years ago. When we look at this, we have to understand that if Robert Kennedy, when we talk about national security, if Robert Kennedy was truly aware or cared, I don't know which it is, or educated about it, that he would instruct people to put gardens in their yards, to have food forests, to put orchards. So everybody should be growing their own food without chemicals, with real minerals and real microbes, and building power and health and vitality in their own family. I mean, that's what we're here to do.
I love
to
that.
take care of our children, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not here to feed my children slave food. I'm here to feed them real food.
Just eat a poison.
Right.
Like
so
they make rat poison real tasty for the rats.
So, and here's the thing is, in reality, chemical warfare and synthetic biological warfare is being waged on us and has been for about a century.
So 10 years ago, people would be like, you're so crazy. But now people actually understand. And they're like, you're right, dude. They did this with all these injections, was like chemical warfare. Like, this is crazy.
Here's the thing. Everybody has to sit in their pain long enough to recognize that there's a problem.
Yeah.
Right. The only reason I'm aware of this stuff is because I spent my entire childhood sick and had to solve the problem on my own with doing a lot of research and finding solutions to be able to even have a chance at becoming a world champion. So through that education on 40 years of research, I have found solutions with a team of people, experts, amazing individuals like Doc Will Spencer, like Nick Spahn, like other ag experts who know how to help farmers grow real food or real corn or real soybeans, which I don't agree with the grain life in general. And even for cattle, they shouldn't be eating grain. They should be eating grass, nutrient-dense grass. But nonetheless, the point is that we have solutions for all of it, and they don't come with corporate patents. They come from nature, and they come from the divine blueprint of how life is supposed to be sustained and create a thriving life of vitality on this planet.
Well, you said something very interesting about the education, and that's a big problem. And some of it is so foundational and fundamental. It's like, economics is called the science of scarcity, and it should be called the science of abundance. I mean, so they're like, well, and you look at somebody like RFK. I mean, that's the only guy that I even cared about. I'm so disillusioned with politics, but he's the only one kind of speaking to this, because what you said, and I'd love for you to repeat that phrase. We actually had Vabhav in the LinkedIn chat on this video. Was like amazing point, and I loved it because it really resonates. I think another thing that you and I have that's congruent is, I had cancer when I was 15 because I grew up as a downwinder, which is basically a term that had to be coined for somebody who grew up within 10 miles of a nuclear accident. I grew up in the 10-mile radius of Rocky Flats, which has been called the American Chernobyl. It's like a big problem.
Yeah.
And that has plagued me my whole life. And so you said something about like, you have to bear the burden before you actually see the liberation. You see the cage, how'd you say that?
Well, I just had to spend my entire childhood sick and working 3 times as hard as everybody else just to barely keep up with anybody.
Right.
Because of my respiratory issues and all the other things that were going on. And when I finally had enough and really dug into the old books, like the old books from the early 1800s, and started talking to old timers who understood a lot of these things and solved my own problems. And after I put together that protocol to try and fix my issues, it only took 10 days where I went from breathing through a straw full of mucus to a crystal clear PVC tube. Wow. And I could run like the wind. I could run because of my work ethic of trying to keep up with everybody. All of a sudden, run effort. Dude, I'm beating cross country teams in trail runs, like, 10, 15 mile trail run through the woods in Scott County Park, where entire university cross country teams would show up to run it. I'm burying these people. Like, I'm running as fast as I can and not getting tired. That's what everybody should be able to do after a childhood, a lifetime of being sick, right? So that's what I see for humanity. That's what I see for hospitals full of sick children. That's what I see for, I've seen it thousands of times over the last 40 years of people figuring things out. All you got to do is plant the seed and say, go look. Just go look, do tons of research on natural solutions. Because, Jake, were we created in a laboratory?
No.
Then why in the hell would I want to use synthetics created in a laboratory and put in a biological organism to try to benefit from it? It doesn't work. Eventually things go sideways.
So again, back to the education thing, you said another very interesting thing about, like, dude, you had to go to the old school. You had to find these old mentors because the new information, sorry, it's probably propaganda. I don't want to bring up the Epstein files, but we found out that Ghislaine Maxwell's dad was the guy who put out all the textbooks.
We were talking about that 10 years ago, bro, on my podcast, right? Dude, so you imagine how I've viewed the world for, since healing myself. It's
hard.
Right?
Yeah, it's hard to be one of the first persons to see it.
It is what it is. But again, I'm allowing
this is the same thing
else.
with catch wrestling. I realized I saw what basically it was UFC Japan. I saw what happened to there, and it was just like, oh my God. I thought that, like everybody, because of the marketing machine behind the UFC and the ownership back then of the the Gracies, I thought Gracie Jiu-Jitsu was the end all, and that's what I had invested in and all that. And then UFC Japan happened. and you see all these wrestlers come in and flipped everything over. And I was
Sakuraba and guys like that.
yeah, Sakuraba, Frank. There was a whole like that was all like a wrestling dominant show.
Yeah.
And when that happened, I was like, oh, I need to go expand my thinking again, get out of the modern education, marketing, propaganda, whatever it is, and go talk to the old timers. And so dude, so smart. Okay. And guys, look, I'm going to throw this up real quick. Look at this animal. Look at this animal, dude. When was that picture taken?
Well, I was a little younger, I can tell. That was before a title fight. That was, one of the title fights, I think, or something. But yeah, so CatchCon, I'm excited. Early May. And yeah, I'm looking forward to interacting with people. I love interacting. I love teaching. I love watching people have fun and excel and get better. That's what it's all about.
I'm just honored to have you a part of it. The wisdom, you've come and you've done some seminars for us and stuff, and just really honored and very excited, not only to have you as a business partner, but man, some of the stuff that we got cooking, I wish I could tell these people. I actually, at the beginning, I was teasing them. I'm like, guys, I want you to think as big as you possibly can. And just put it in the chat if there's anything that you could think about, like something massively huge. And I think we have at least 2 things cooking that are massively huge. So I hate to do that to people, but I want to put that out into the universe because I think in about 6 months' time, we're going to really blow some minds.
Yeah, it's already happening. So Kevin did Kevin have a question, or he made a point? He's in a squad car.
Yeah, here, I'll bring him up. Yeah, now Kevin came last year. Kevin is a deputy sheriff. And actually, Kevin and I need to introduce you and Kevin because we've been working on this thing for sheriffs. He's a Missouri sheriff, a deputy sheriff, and he's a career guy. He's very successful. And I was telling him about your leverage
compliance programs. Yeah.
I think it's a perfect.
And something it took a lot of years, of course, figuring out. I remember the first time, I don't know, 30 years ago or whatever it was, when my good friend Mark Hansen, who's I think he's a captain now with Davenport Police Department, but Mark fought MMA. Mark and I trained together literally from day one, but Mark was the first one to get me involved with law enforcement training back in the day. And so they asked me, in a certain position, hey, what should we do here? And I go, well, choke him. and they go, well, we can't do that. And I go, why not? And they said, well, use of force, compliance and all these things. And I went, well, that really doesn't make sense to me. But legality. And of course, I was so green at the time. I was like, just choke him. What's the problem? But, you learn through time that when you have to build a system, you have to build it in a way that protects the officer legally as well. And the system, has to be able to do that for them. And so that's what we did. We modeled leverage compliance and focusing on the 3 H's to keep it simple for law enforcement: the head, the hips, and the hands. If you focus on the 3 H's and get really good at controlling those things in a hands-on situation, you're usually going to come out pretty well. And if by the time you're done with our training course for, level 1 for law enforcement, at very least, even somebody who's not physically a very formidable person, they can instantly, by the minute there's a hands-on situation, they know by the way someone moves, by the way they put their hands on anybody, by the way, just in general, not just the physical cauliflower ears or, looking a little. But there's people out there that are very dangerous and they move a different way, and you have to be able to recognize what kind of tiger you've grabbed the tail of. And so the training identifies that for people. It gives them some very, very focused goals to be able to accomplish by the end of the training. And so when they come out the other side, they're very aware of how to at least move themselves, because most human beings don't even know how to move themselves these days, let alone move another human body.
A non-compliant other human.
Right. And so if you don't know how to move yourself correctly, you're not going to be able to effectively move another human being. And then you move into a partner situation where I have to work with another officer or 3 other officers. If I don't have a system put together to getting people under control, that's how a lot of people get hurt or worse. And so it's just incorporating all those things in and helping people understand leverage, compliance, and the 3 H's, where there's a very clear path for people that it's either the person that you're trying to get under control ends up in prone position in cuffs, or you get the hell away from them and move on to your other tools because you don't want you're not able to control the situation. So
yeah, and
assist
Kevin,
people in getting home alive is what it's about.
Kevin is already bought his tickets to CatchCon, so I guarantee you, I can promise it, I'm predicting the future right now. Kevin is going to grab you and pull you off and pick your brain probably for an hour at CatchCon about this. And I've told him, I'm like, dude, what we're doing, we need to bring Pat in on this, because I saw a post you did the other day about, UFC's doing this thing with the Marines, and you're like, dude, I was doing that 30 years ago.
Yeah, no, I was at Quantico doing trainings and stuff out there, having fun with those guys and doing work with them. And that was when they were building out the McMaps program, the Marine Corps Martial Arts program, and stuff like that. And so, all the Marine Corps instructors and a lot of the command and stuff, of course, had some martial arts backgrounds. So everybody wanted to throw their martial arts kind of components into it and make it a system, which was kind of cool. But I had fun. I had a day there where I grappled with like 25 Marine Corps instructors, back to back. Had to go with all of them. And one thing I recognized was when I started grappling with them, they would all go to their back because they had previous instructors come there. And I said, hold on a second. And I stopped them all, because when they would go to their back, I would just pass their guard and submit them really quick. And I said, what's going on here? And they said, we were told that if we were dealing with someone who was stronger or bigger or better, that we should just go to our back. And I said, no, that's not how the real world works. And I said, and you're going to do this with, a ruck on, and are you, this is insanity. And I said, if you only take one thing away from me this week of me teaching you, it's never go to your back in a combat situation, a street situation, any real world application. If you do that, look, you might not ever get up.
You're not just fighting a person at that point. You're fighting gravity. You're fighting the abrasive earth.
At least make them do the work to get you there.
Yeah. It's so funny, because that kind of brings it full circle with Carl. Like, Carl was so adamant about that.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm gonna throw up. This is the cover of the book. It's kind of cut off a little bit, but yeah, man, absolutely crucial, man. You are an institution of really important information, guys. This is the mission of Scientific Wrestling. This is the mission of me personally, to try to bring to you these amazing people that I work very hard to bring into my own circle and share that with you guys to hopefully affect and improve your life. Maybe it won't, but I'm pretty damn sure it will.
Oh, it's going to. It's going to.
I know.
This is about rebuilding the warrior society, the warrior scholar.
The warrior
society.
Scientific wrestling. Yes.
Look, when growing up in school in the 80s, they'd already divided us into, the jocks and the geeks and the this. Yeah. No, you want to be physically powerful, mentally capable, spiritually connected. You want to be all of these things. Super important to be as well-rounded as we possibly can. Am I ever going to be the most intelligent person on the planet? Absolutely not. Am I ever going to be the strongest person on the planet physically? No, but I can be the best version of me today. And that's what this is about.
Well, right? And we're beings of infinite potential.
Yes.
Like,
yes,
you could do so much more than what you really think. And, again, going back to the childhood trauma stuff and the illness, it's like you said, when you have, it's like resistance training. That illness is a kind of resistance training, because you're struggling against this super hard thing. And then when that breaks off, dude, you're like superhuman because of the strength from the resistance.
Yes. Yeah. No. And that's the thing that people need to understand, that when they're suffering and you have people telling you that they don't have answers and that it won't go away, just remember that the modern systems are designed to treat the symptoms and not the cause. Understanding the cause, which is environmental, and how to get the bad parts of the environment out of you and put the good parts in, is how you solve these problems, right? So there is no such thing as dis-ease, right? That is a set of symptoms that they've given a name to. What's causing the problem?
The input.
Yes. Always the environment. Always, almost. And people go, well, how are people born with these problems? That's not well, yeah, the baby is the detox pathway for the mother. So whatever toxins and nutrient deficiencies she's had, that's what got passed down to the child. That's the environment, right? It's very easy to understand. 40 years of research later, I understand it can be very complex. And there's conversations that I have even today with people who are on a whole nother level where it's like, oh, I've got a lot to learn still.
Oh, dude, I have a math degree, but chemistry, I was like, screw that. I'm not doing that. It's like chemistry is like a whole other fucking level, dude. Like, oh.
Well, and organic chemistry is even more intense.
Yeah, OChem is the worst. OChem's like none of it makes sense. None of it's intuitive.
Well, it does when you understand geology, biology, and then chemistry that takes place between them, right? And some of that, that's
above my pay grade, man. That's like craziness. So funny you mentioned Mike Size, because actually those MMA.TV days, Mike Size was the first athlete that Scientific Wrestling actually ever sponsored. This has got to be back in 2005.
That's amazing.
And he's just down in Colorado Springs. I need to actually pick up the phone and talk to him. I don't talk to him enough.
Yeah, he's an incredible black belt in jiu-jitsu, wrestler, catch-can guy,
MMA,
striking, MMA. He's about as complete as they get. A great instructor. So anybody in the Colorado Springs area should absolutely head over there.
Yeah, he's got a really good school down there.
And he's one of the funniest people you'll ever meet too.
Yeah,
the guy's sense of humor is incredible. So yeah.
So listen, I do have a hard stop. I want to thank you so much, Pat, man. I know your time is precious. I don't want any of your chickens to get eaten by that eagle or that hawk or whatever. Guys, get your tickets, man. CatchCon. These things, I just got to say this. The reason I am who I am is, again, because I'm not special. It's because I just fucking take action. I move forward. I do it. I get in the room. I make the sacrifice. I fucking figure it out. I commit. Then I figure it out. And you've got to do that. I mean, I got trained I was Billy Robinson's right hand. Is it because I'm some stud? No, it's because I fucking showed up. I was mentored by Carl Gotch. Same thing, because I fucking showed up. I'm a 3rd degree black belt under Wade Chalice, the only black belt from the greatest wrestler on the planet. Why? I'm not the great. I'm very mediocre, but I fucking showed up. I got in the room.
Yeah. Well, and look, we can only do so much by ourselves. It takes the power of community, right? And that's what's happening right now.
Mentoring and old timers, like you said. I mean, I'm sorry to call you an old timer, but we're kind of we're in that space a little bit.
Wade, just to have dinner with Wade Chalice and hang out and talk with him, for me, I mean, that's a big deal. That's a very big deal. I mean, fun. The Guinness Book of World Record holder for pins, and the legendary career that he had and the knowledge that man possesses. I mean, he is the Briscoes, the Shamrocks, all of this stuff that's coming together for all of this is very special and very important.
Thank you, Pat. Appreciate the heck out of you. Guys, get in the room. CatchCon.us. Look, I even put a little this side, I'm not a good weatherman. You can hit this QR code. You can go to the website. Dude, I am not shy. I am probably sending you emails. I probably have my staff calling you. Get in the goddamn room. Don't make me work so hard for it. Just get in the room. I promise you, this will be one of the greatest fucking things you ever do in your life. Just do it. I'm telling you. I promise you. I promise you this will be one of the greatest weekends of your life. I fucking promise you. You know why? because you're going to actually put yourself amongst greatness. Okay, see my fucking hat? I wore this for a reason. Get in the fucking room. All right, I love you, Pat. You're the best. You're a fucking genius. I'm so excited. I'll see you in Las Vegas, sir. Go protect your chickens.